A feeling of expectancy had grown among the people, who were beginning to think that John might be the Christ. So John declared before them all, "I baptize you with water. But someone is coming, someone who is more powerful than I am, and I am not fit to undo the strap of his sandals. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire."
I have need to be baptized of thee. Comest thou to me?
Suffer it to be so now. For thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness.
Now when all the people had been baptized, and while Jesus, after his own baptism, was at prayer... Oh, wait a minute.
As a testimony that ye have entered into a covenant to serve him.
Luke doesn't tell us that it was John who baptized Jesus. Luke just tells us that Jesus was baptized and that his baptism was accompanied by the coming of the Holy Spirit. That's the important thing for Luke, not who did the baptizing. What Luke says is that when all the people had been baptized, and while Jesus, after his own baptism, was at prayer, heaven opened, and the Holy Spirit descended on him in bodily shape, like a dove. And a voice came from heaven, "You are my Son, the Beloved. My favor rests on you." It's Matthew and Mark who say it was John that baptized Jesus, but Luke doesn't. For Luke, it's the coming of the Holy Spirit upon Jesus after his baptism that is important, because it marks for Luke the beginning of Jesus' mission, in much the same way that it is the coming of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost upon the apostles that he tells us about in the beginning of the Acts, that marks the beginning of the ministry, the mission of the apostles as well. That same Spirit that Luke talks about coming down on Jesus at his baptism, and that motivated the first apostles, the first disciples, to go out into the world and proclaim Christ. That same Spirit moves and motivates our church today. But I think we've become less attuned than we might be to listening for the movement of that Spirit in our lives and in our church. We allow other things to get in the way, to obscure the voice, to drown out the voice of God's Spirit. We allow our stubbornness and our ego to get in the way, our desire to be right, our desire to hold on to what we find comfortable and familiar, our adherence to what we have always known, what we think has always been, what we can't imagine our church without. But this desire to hold on to so much obscures perhaps something of the movement of the Spirit that is calling us to continue to grow in our faith and in our mission to maybe change our mission to suit the needs of our world today rather than the world of 50 or 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago. I know I've talked a great deal about the Synod recently, and I make no apology for it, because I think the Synod is a truly momentous occasion in our church. Has the possibility of opening us up to the Spirit, but for us to be moved by the Spirit during this Synod, we need to have open minds and open hearts. We need to be willing to listen to opinions that differ from our own, and we need to be able to invite opinions from people who may not be as comfortable as we are, offering their thoughts, sharing their feelings and their opinions with others. Some people will no doubt find that much easier than others. But if the voice of the Spirit is to be heard in our church and in our Synod, then we need to be willing and able to listen to everybody who has an opinion that they wish to share, no matter how different those opinions may be to our own. I find it really comforting, really optimistic that the people who are responsible for guiding us on this journey, for shaping our experience of this journeying together that is the Synod, seem to be very well aware of our human frailty, that some will find it easier to talk than others, that we need to work together to create a space where everyone feels free and welcome to express their opinion, no matter how familiar or how different it may be, in the confidence that whatever they say will be listened to and will be respected. Only then will we truly be open to hearing the voice of the Spirit and perhaps respond to that movement, just as did Jesus at his baptism and the apostles at Pentecost. We too are called to respond to the movement of God's Spirit in our lives as individuals and in our life as a church, as a people who are journeying together in the service of God.